it's Jo, welcome back. Today I wanted to give you some recommendations for books featuring creepy kids. I have kind of a variety. I have 6 books total I wanted to recommend, and they range from the creepy kid is like the whole point of the book to creepy kids just play some sort of role. So anyway, I'm going to get into it. First of all, I have 2 books by the same author. The first one is Let Me In, also called Let the Right One In by Jonavita Lindquist. This one, I'm sure everybody knows kind of what it's about. It features a young boy who has some pretty extreme bullying problems in his life, also separated parents and just some sort of family drama. He meets a seemingly little girl who turns out to be a vampire. Lindquist's character work is just completely phenomenal. I love the little boy, and he's so relatable and so sympathetic, and him befriending this clearly creepy as crap, evil, maybe little girl. Anyway, this little girl vampire person just comes off super sympathetic occasionally and super sweet and innocent sometimes, but mostly like you know what she is, you know things that she's done. And then again, you discover some of her backstory, and again, you feel sorry for her. It was a good ride all around, but there were definitely some oh my god, this innocent little girl just did this horrific little thing moments in it that were a ton of fun. My other recommendation by the same author is I Am Behind You. I talk about this book all the time because it's one of my absolute favorites. This surrounds a group of people, like unrelated people, who were camping, like in a campground, all in their own little campers, who wake up one morning and suddenly there's nothing around them except these other couple of campers. The book total, I believe, has 8 adults and 2 small children and a cat and a dog. You do get some dog point of view in this, which is fun too. One of the children, the little girl in this, for some reason it's usually little girls who play the creepy kid character, but anyway, the little girl in this is like the most evil thing I've ever read about. Like, she and Pennywise would be good friends, I think. There's some paranormal things in this book that she ties to that are just crazy, but also she just plots to do some awful things. I don't want to spoil things for you. If you like creepy kids, this is a great one. I will say it's kind of a slower read, sort of, and it doesn't have like a neat and tidy wrap up. It's a book to make you think, and it's a book if you love character work, if you love interesting, believable, varied, relatable, flawed characters, this is a good one for you. But again, it totally hits the mark for creepy kids. My next recommendation is a book that more surrounds the idea of a creepy kid than focusing on an actual creepy child. It's The Upstairs Room by Kate Murray Brown. This one is about a young family, a married couple and their 2 daughters who stretched themselves financially to buy this house. They end up renting out part of the house to a lodger for income's sake. And shortly after moving into the house, a lot like a lot of different haunted house stories, there are issues. The mother discovers this room, this weird little upstairs room, where apparently a little girl who lived there before, Emily, was allowed to just go crazy on the walls, like her name is written hundreds of times. Just a lot of weird kind of things start happening in the house. There's a lot to do with the relationship with the married couple. The wife ends up having some health problems, some sort of mysterious health problems not long after moving in. The 2 girls maybe have some sort of behavioral issues. It's very much a psychological book where you wonder all sorts of things. You guess it. I had so many different theories while reading this. But the wife becomes sort of overtly interested in this little girl and the family that lived there before and what was going on, what happened to her, how is that related, or is it related to things that are going on now? It's an excellent psychological thriller horror book to really make you question things and guess, but it had that just overarching, unsettling feeling tied to something creepy going on with the little girl. The next book on the list is probably the most quintessential creepy kid book I have to talk about today. That is Only Child by Patricia Wallace. This one is about a small town where there is a mysterious plane crash. Nobody on the plane has any idea, and they are all dead except for a little girl named Hannah, who is completely fine, miraculously fine, and also doesn't know who she is or where she was going, basically. As soon as this plane crashes, things start happening in the town, mostly surrounding kids either getting killed or disappearing. She's very much an evil child. It goes into it. It does have a pretty cool climax where it sort of explains what's going on, and it was a ton of fun. But there is just a lot of creepy things happening and a lot of getting little sort of bits of Hannah's thought process. It was so much fun. Highly, highly recommend this book if you can find a copy of it to check out. Next, I have some vampires with The Lesser Dead by Christopher Beelman. This one surrounds a teenage vampire, so like he became a vampire when he was 16, I think, living in the sewers or subways, I always forget, in New York. So there is a lot of the just sweet and innocent, angel face looking little boy, not little boy, but angel face looking kid doing terrible things. But also it does feature some like small child vampires in it. And if you've read any vampire books, you probably know that whenever a child becomes a vampire, they are just instantly like the evilest thing on the planet. Like any instance I could think of that had like a child vampire, discounting Twilight, they're just terrible, awful, evil. And even in Twilight, that was a plot. Anyway, you get that sort of evil, ulterior motived, sweet and innocent looking adolescent, but you also get that just downright evil, creepy kid in there. On the note of creepy adolescents, the last book I have to recommend is Battle Royale by Kaushin Takami. This one, long before The Hunger Games, has a very similar plot to The Hunger Games. In this fictional dystopian country, every year they select a 9th grade class, take them to some remote area. In this book, it's an island, and using a lot of different, sort of technological help to speed things along, they're all forced to kill each other until there's only one left. Very much a survivalist book. And it has a lot of cool elements. They have collars with both trackers on them and bombs in them, so if they break any of these rules or they don't keep moving, they're not going to survive that way. Anyway, this class has 42 kids in it, 9th graders, like I said, and they all react in different ways. Some of them go off with their friends or their boyfriends and girlfriends, or decide to kill themselves, or just try to survive. But there are also that handful who are just like ready to kill people, and they just have those wicked, fun, conniving, killing their friends scenes that are just, yeah, it was a good time. Anyway, those are the recommendations I have for you today. There are several other like quintessential creepy kid books that I really want to read, and there are also a lot of other books that I can think of that have some creepy kids in them, like Interview with the Vampire features another creepy vampiric little girl. But anyway, these are the ones that come to mind the most, that I would the most highly recommend. Please let me know down below what your favorite creepy kid book is. I would love to hear about them. Thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you all again soon. Bye.